Okay, here's another spot that I'm at. Wiring up the fuel pump. I just got a, normal relay. That's going to be my hot wire. That would be pretty easy. That goes to the ground. Power, and then that's the switch. The switch, of course, everyone knows. If you come down in here, you see that pink wire right there next to the blue tap. You got to tap that line for your signal for your relay. So I'm going to tap that, bring that around. But this thing right here, this is what I got from, I think it was High Flow Fuel. These guys had, the pigtail that goes on the fuel pump. And what I like about it is how thick the wires were. I think this is like 12 gauge, which should work, of course, with the relay. And probably at some point I'll get some voltage booster, so you probably want good wiring, not the 30-year-old stuff. I think the 30-year-old stuff would do your trigger, but, underneath here, this is just the end of it, from High Flow Fuel, and you just substitute it from your other one. It should work pretty good. Here's another thing. You just don't know, if you haven't bought the car originally, you just don't know. When I took the tank out, the pickup actually was a 3/8 pickup. Of course, still has the quarter return though, but I thought that was funny. I thought for sure this is all going to be stock, but the guy I bought it from, Jeff, he did everything pretty much right, and he told me that he was planning to do a forced induction. So anyway, onward. This is what I'm talking about. So the T-trim has 3 3/4 inlet. Oh, this stuff kind of in the way here. Of course, I had stock fuel lines. Those are going. And these tall valve covers, I believe, might have to modify them or put something else in there, because the elbow that came off was just completely squished on this side. It was right here where the fuel line was. It was just kind of just pressed against it and, just kind of shoved in there. And, I wasn't trying to get maximum boost. I just want to make sure everything fit, which it did, but it didn't fit ideally. So that's what I'm doing right now. Going through the whole thing, making sure everything is right here. Well, like I mentioned with the rails, this little turn doesn't really matter on a 351. It could go straight, but this is what I was worried about, because I had to step it down from an 8 to a 6, and then of course the 6 at a 90 degree looks like it'll work. That was my biggest concern with this whole thing. Well, I got a little bit more done. Got the regulator mounted here with the 2 return lines. Like I discussed with the Incon rails, I have the 2 outlets coming, right down here or underneath the blower and into the regulator. And then the feed I got so far is coming from the back of the rails, and then that'll come to the side with a bulkhead fitting down here, hopefully. The lines that I'm using are those Earls 3/8 vapor guard lines, and I got another video out there that kind of shows how you can make them look a little bit pretty, with the different clamps and the braided line that kind of flips over the top of it. But so far so good. Hopefully I'll button the front up so I can concentrate on the back, and then bring the lines all the way up. So slow but progress. Okay, real quick, this is the Pro-Am hanger, which is 3/8 feed and 3/8 return. So what they say, you can't use a hose clamp. So what I did, I used these 3 metal kind of tie wraps, and you know, you really got to get them tight. So they first have you make this modification here on the end, because before it kind of went out further. And on the top of the fuel tank, here's what they want you to do in the instructions, and how much you need to clearance all the way around except for the 2 tabs, which I think is crazy. So this is what I did. I only had to clearance, you know, at the 10 and 2 o'clock area. And I think the thing will fit now. I just gotta put the sock on it and layer in there. So yeah, it's kind of a nice unit. It's kind of expensive, but it should work. So update, I'm not smarter than the people that made this, so when they say do that, you pretty much got to do that. Be able to move this thing around inside to get it in place, but after that everything works out. So get to put this back in the lines and everything should be buttoned up. Okay, I finally get a good weekend. Nice weather out as opposed to all the snow that we've gotten. So I got the gas tank all buttoned up, ready to go under. What I got left now is the line. That's the vapor guard line. I got 25 feet of it. I'm just trying to stretch it out right now. 25 feet of it for the feed and return. And here's underneath. That's gonna be my feed, and then my return is right there. If you could see that, that's where the regulator is, right here. And it's just going through, you know, that oval hole where the stock air box was. So my plan is to, and I'm not sure 25 feet is going to be enough, is go ahead and hook up the return first, because that's one big solid line, and then see for the feed, because I got to put the filter in between, so I can cut the line there, see if I have any left. But here's one thing with the line here, this being a rubber line, this vapor guard. A friend of mine put that in his car, and it's real susceptible to just sagging if you don't have a bracket almost every 6 inches. So what I thought about doing, I think I'm gonna try it, is I got this 3/4 inch tube stock, aluminum tube stock, that I could fit, and it fits right over the line. I think I'm gonna run it the whole side of the car, underneath the car here, for one, stability, and really protection from the rubber line also. You know, if I just run it right there, it'll come just straight up. Back here, it'll go just straight up and over. So we'll just see how that kind of goes. That is a bitch. Stupid vent. Okay, I'm not in a good mood since Illinois got beat today. So anyway, so I figured I'd work on this. So here's my lines coming up from underneath the car. That one's the feed right there. And then of course my return goes all the way around. And I don't know if you can see that though, but the regulator here is right there. Really can't see it well, but it's gonna go all the way around. But underneath, just wanted to show this real quick. 2 lines come in here, and I put it inside this 3/4 inch tubes. Just, you know, stock aluminum tubes. Just so underneath, no, I'm not gonna put tie wraps and everything. I was just for, you know, just kind of hanging there. And there's my filter, and it goes up in there and then around to the drive shaft tunnel, and then, you know, back and around. So again, it's just 3/8, and it's hose. So that's, you know, the 2 reasons why I use this aluminum stock is that, you know, one, for protection, the other is hose. You know, you put that much fuel in there, it's going to sag. So anyway, just real quick update. I'm still pissed with the Illinois game. Just one small tip. Before you put your injectors back into your new rails, I would recommend verifying that your rubber seals are still good, or else you'll be doing it again like I'm doing. So it is what it is, and having fun. Yep, just what I thought would happen. I had to take the spacer out of the upper intake because it was rubbing against the hood here for a little bit. So when I took that out, I had to grind, you know, back here so it wouldn't hit the tall valve covers. But now that I got the new rails on, guess what problem I have? Yeah, now it's resting right up against it, and it won't, you know, won't seat down in there. So I'm gonna have to dig up the old spacer or just get a shorter one. I don't know who would have maybe a shorter than a 1/2 inch, but yep, just what I thought would happen. Maybe you could see this a little bit better with the, you know, the clearance job that I did underneath there. There's not a lot of room, but yeah, there's no way that would have fit. So anyway, 351 Windsor, big TFS intake, you know, loom heads, big cam, Vortec T-trim. Ought to be fun when I really get her going. So